This is how all civilizations, if there's ever going to be one, evolve. There never has been a civilization in recorded history yet, okay? But black people should be pioneers in establishing the first civilization in recorded history. You know, because there's no record of there ever being a civilization. They say Roman civilization. You look at the Romans, you can't call that civilized. They're feeding people to the lions. And the royal family, I mean, poisoning each other. Caesar Augustus being poisoned by his wife Livia. And then you got people like Nero and people like Caligula. And you study Caligula's activities, and you're going to call that civilized? And have black students having to go to college and pay big money to learn about Caligula and his great civilization, or Alexander the Great, who did nothing but slaughter people? Now, they built architecture and all like that, like the Colosseum, but in that Colosseum, what were they doing? Feeding people to the lions. See, we need to look at things for what they really are. And we're correct when we say we need to wipe out a whole lot of the curricula of these colleges that were set up for white people in the first place anyway, and white people who had a whole lot of money and didn't have nothing else to do, where they could go and learn at great expense how to sip tea. That's what college was all about among ancient royalty. It was about giving royal people something to do. And the elementary schools, they called it, was for the workers, the people that did all the real work. Because actually, royal people, which is something black people even brag about, which we ought to stop doing, talking about how we had great kings and queens. No, we didn't. Kings and queens are on welfare. Stop and think about it. They're on welfare. They don't produce anything. People who get out and work in factories and work on the farms and things like that, that's getting something done. People who sit and burn midnight oil and invent things, taking years to come up with an invention that everybody then enjoys. But the record of most kings and queens is just going around misusing people, taking stuff away from people. That's how they got their capital. The king can do no wrong. And you got tribal kings right now among black people that think that they are running the entire world when they're not running nothing. They can't even run a decent village. Everybody there is barefoot. And the king is practically barefoot if he wasn't getting shoes from whom? The white supremacists. So we need to come off all of that nonsense